Chloe was just 3 years old, but she had already been through so much in her young life. She had been abandoned by her previous owners and left to fend for herself on the streets. She was malnourished, scared, and had nowhere to go. That's when she was picked up by the local animal shelter. When Chloe arrived at the shelter, she was in a bad shape. She was too scared to come out of the crate, and she spent most of her time hiding in the corner. The shelter workers knew they had to be patient with her, so they spent hours sitting outside her crate, talking to her softly and offering her treats. But Chloe was still too scared to come out. She would cower in the corner of her crate, shiver with fear. It was a heartbreaking sight to see at such a young dog being so terrified. Days turned into weeks, and Chloe was still hiding in her crate in the corner. The shelter workers knew they had to do something to help her, so they called in a specialist. His name was Darvishnu, and he had a special way with the dogs. When he arrived at the shelter, he took one look at Chloe and knew he had to help her. He spent hours sitting outside her crate, talking to her softly and lowering her treats. He didn't force her to come out, but he gently encouraged her to take a few steps towards him. Slowly but surely, Chloe began to trust Darvishnu. She would come out of her crate and sniff around, and she even started wagging her tail when he was near. It was a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. As the days went by, Chloe began to open up more and more. She would follow Darvishnu around the shelter and even started playing with some of the other dogs. It was amazing to see the transformation in such a short amount of time. Finally, the day came when Chloe was ready to leave the shelter. Darvishnu had decided to adopt her himself, and he couldn't wait to take her home. But even though Chloe was excited to leave the shelter, she was still scared. When she arrived at Darvishnu's house, she immediately ran to the corner of the room and hid. Darvishnu knew he had to be patient with her, so he sat down on the floor and talked to her softly. He didn't force her to come out, but he gently encouraged her to take a few steps towards him. Slowly but surely, Chloe began to trust Darvishnu again. She would come out of her hiding spot and sniff around. She even started playing with some of the toys he had brought her. It was amazing to see such a transformation in such a short amount of time. But there was still one thing that Chloe was too scared to do: eat and drink. Darvishnu knew that she needed nourishment, so he gently coaxed her to eat and drink. At first, she would only take a few sips of water and nibble of food. But eventually, she started eating and drinking normally. Now Chloe is a happy and a healthy dog. She loves to play with Darvishnu and go for walks around the neighborhood. She still has some fears, but Darvishnu is always there to help her overcome them. Chloe's story is a testament to the power of patience and love. Even the most scared and traumatized animals can learn to trust again with the right kind of care. And for Chloe, her new life begins now with a loving adopting father by her side.